Many people think there are animals that should only be admired and never eaten. The ostrich, the crocodile, or even the kangaroo comes to mind. The thought alone makes many people shudder. But in reality, in many parts of the world, these seemingly inedible meats have become a multi-billion-dollar industry each year. In this video, let's explore how humans have turned the impossible into a global food source. This might be the first time you've heard of ostrich meat. But commercial ostrich farming has a history of over 160 years. Originating in South Africa, this model then spread to many other countries, including China and the US, two major markets in agriculture and food processing. Reports indicate that in China alone, this industry can generate revenue of up to $10 million each year. In the US, there are around 250 farms raising this bird. Although not as popular as cattle or chicken farming, ostrich farming provides a stable source of income for many farm households. Around 70% of the revenue from this profession comes from meat and skin, while the remaining 30% comes from feathers. When ostriches reach their ideal weight, around 260 to 330 pounds, equivalent at an age of around 10 to 13 months, they are ready for the meat processing stage. They are led into specialized trucks to be transported to the slaughter facility. At the facility, the processing begins with the stunning and slaughtering of the ostrich. At least 2 workers are needed to firmly hold the ostrich to ensure safety and efficiency. This is followed by cleaning and feather removal. Besides the delicious meat, ostrich feathers are also widely used in high-end fashion and household goods production. Once the ostrich body is completely cleaned, workers begin partitioning the meat. Red, lean, and firm cuts of meat are transferred to the packaging area. Each portion is carefully weighed, usually ranging from 500 to 800 grams. The meat is then packaged under strict preservation conditions to maintain its full flavour and freshness. An adult ostrich weighing around 98 pounds can yield a meat mass of around 92 pounds, equivalent to 46% of its body weight. Ostrich meat is considered a healthy alternative to beef, with high protein and iron content but less fat, calories and cholesterol than beef. The market price for ostrich meat in the US ranges from around $15 to $25 for a 500 to 800 gram package. However, if consumers are not careful, they might waste this money on fraudsters. Some places have used sow pork to counterfeit ostrich meat, deceiving customers with similar colour and texture. This not only causes damage to farmers, but also affects the reputation of the entire industry. Today's next destination is the crocodile farm. Major centres of this industry include Thailand, Australia, South Africa, China, and the US. Since 2010, statistics show that over 1.5 million crocodiles are slaughtered annually to meet the demand for food, fashion, and other byproducts. In Louisiana alone, the alligator farming and processing businesses generated revenue between $60 and $70 million each year. In captive conditions, crocodiles usually take 2 to 4 years to reach commercial size. The crocodiles selected for slaughter are all healthy and robust individuals. Before slaughter, crocodiles are temporarily stunned using electric shock to minimize their pain. Once incapacitated, their snouts are secured, limbs are fixed, and they are loaded onto transport vehicles. Upon arrival at the processing facility, workers use sharp knives to cut the carotid artery. This kills the animal quickly and humanely. Next, workers carefully cut lengthwise along the crocodile's belly and separate the skin from the muscle tissue. The remaining carcass is moved to the butchering area. Here, workers carefully separate the cuts of meat, including the tail, back, ribs, and neck. Of these, the tail is the most valuable part, accounting for nearly 50% of the total saleable meat volume. After separation, the meat is cleaned and cut into standard-sized pieces. The entire process takes place in a strictly hygienic environment. To preserve freshness, most of the meat is packaged in vacuum-sealed bags. Each package of meat is then distributed to consumers worldwide. Many people might argue that harvesting and eating crocodile meat is an act contrary to the goal of ecological balance. But in reality, by providing a stable supply, crocodile farms significantly reduce illegal hunting, which was the main cause of many species facing extinction. Not only that, but many facilities participate in reintroduction programs, releasing young crocodiles back into the wild to strengthen the wild population. This is a form of sustainable development. Another sustainable food industry is rabbit meat processing, with the value reaching $1.5 billion per year and a production of around 860,000 tons of meat. Rabbit meat is gradually becoming a food source that many countries are paying attention to. One of the factors making rabbit farm popular is the short rearing cycle. After only 75 to 90 days, when they reach a weight of 0.9 to 1.1 pounds, rabbits are ready to be transported to the processing plant. Here, they are hung upside down by their hind legs, then stunned with electrical devices and slaughtered humanely. Next is the skinning process. Typically, workers make a small cut around the leg or neck, then pull firmly to separate the entire skin in just a few seconds. With the development of science and technology, some factories also use specialized skinning machines. When the skin is removed, the rabbit is moved to the next stage, evisceration. The carcass is also thoroughly rinsed, ensuring no traces of blood or impurities remain. Once the carcass meets hygiene standards, the cutting and packaging process begins. Rabbit meat is divided into cuts such as hind legs, loin, neck, or smaller parts like thigh and midsections. Then each cut of meat is vacuum sealed to preserve its quality. After that, they are stored in cold storage before being sold to market. Next, let's visit the sheep farms in Australia. This country is the world's largest supplier of lamb or mutton, with an average annual export production of around 400,000 tonnes. The sheep breeds raised for meat are typically Dorper or Suffolk. When they reach an ideal weight of between 100 and 132 pounds, which occurs at around 5 to 9 months old, they are ready for the processing stage. Upon entering the processing line, sheep are led to the stunning area to temporarily lose consciousness. After that, the animal is slaughtered quickly and humanely. Next is the skinning stage. Workers cut lengthwise along the skin from the hook down to the belly, then pull firmly to separate it completely. After that, the two front legs are cut along the shank bone by an automatic machine, and the remaining skin is removed by a twisting machine. These skins will be collected separately for the production of byproducts such as clothing or thermal items. The next step is evisceration. All internal organs, such as the liver, heart, and lungs, are removed, cleaned, and hung on separate hooks for further processing. Immediately afterwards, the carcass is taken to the cleaning area, where all remaining wool, dirt, and debris on the surface are completely removed. After being chilled in storage, the carcass cutting process begins. The carcass is split in half, then separated into main sections such as leg, loin, saddle, and rack. In modern factories, automatic laser monitoring systems are used to ensure absolute precision in every cut. When the cutting is complete, the meat is moved to the preliminary packaging area. Here workers sort each part by size and weight, then place them into packages. Next, the packages are transferred to the vacuum sealing stage and then placed into containers. Upon completion, all containers are sealed and clearly labelled, including information on the processing date, expiration date, and traceability code. For the offal, after cleaning, it is packaged in polyethylene bags. All products from meat to offal are stored in specialised cold rooms before distribution. Another popular meat is turkey. It is a culinary symbol during Western holidays, especially Thanksgiving and Christmas in the US and Canada. Global turkey consumption can reach up to 8 million tonnes per year. To meet this demand, and as is projected by 2025, as much as 4.45 billion pounds of turkey meat may be produced. Turkeys are raised for around 6 months, until they reach an adult weight of between 30 and 40 pounds. When it's time for harvest, tens of thousands of turkeys are caught and placed into transport crates to be taken to the processing plant. Here, turkeys are hung upside down on a conveyor belt. The conveyor belt moves slowly, bleeding the turkeys, and then sends them through a hot water bath to loosen the feather follicles. Next, the turkeys pass through an automatic feather plucking machine where hundreds of soft rubber fingers rotate continuously to clean off the feathers without damaging the skin or the meat underneath. After feather removal, the turkeys are taken to a cutting and separating area. Here, specialised cutting machines remove non-used parts such as the head, neck and feet. This automated technology allows for processing up to 10,000 turkeys per hour. Next, the turkeys are moved to the evisceration stage. An automated machine system makes a precise cut in the abdominal cavity, easily removing all intestines, liver, heart, and other internal organs. Immediately afterwards, the entire internal cavity is completely rinsed with high-pressure water jets. After completing the pre-processing steps, the entire turkey carcass is passed through a checking and sorting system. Hens are usually sold whole, serving traditional feasts. Meanwhile, the male turkeys, or toms, are often further processed into products like sliced meat, turkey sausage, or cold cuts. Finally, each product is packaged in a sterile, vacuum-sealed environment and clearly labelled with a traceability code. Our next location is canned tuna factories. It is projected that by 2032, the canned tuna market could reach up to $36.5 billion US. When the first batches of tuna are transported to the factory, they are immediately put into cold storage maintained at temperatures from negative 0.4 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit. These warehouses can store tuna for a maximum of 3 months. When it's time for processing, the tuna is moved through the cutting and preliminary handling stage. Using specialised industrial saws, workers saw off the head, then cut the fish's body crosswise or into similar sized sections. Processing frozen tuna at low temperatures can help reduce the risk of bacterial contamination by up to 80% compared to processing fresh or thawed fish. The next step is cooking, using the steam method in industrial retorts. These large chambers allow steam to be distributed evenly throughout the fish racks, ensuring that every piece of meat is cooked thoroughly without drying out. Next, the fish is cooled for meat separation. Using small knives and precise operations, workers separate the fish meat while removing bones, skin, and low-quality fragments. Scrap meat and small pieces are collected before being fed into a small bone removal machine to separate the remaining white meat. Once the fish meat is completely cleaned, it is transferred to the canning area. The fish meat is filled into the cans, and then a covering liquid, usually vegetable oil, brine, or a special sauce is added. This helps to retain moisture, enhance flavour, and prevent oxidization, and extend the health life of the canned fish. These cans are sealed by automatic steam machine. Next, the cans are transferred to a washing area to remove oil or residue clinging to the outside, before being placed into large pressure cookers for sterilization. After sterilization and cooling, the canned tuna enters the finishing stage. Workers carefully check each can, ensuring none are dented, damaged, or spilled. Standard cans are packed into cartons, stored in a cool environment to guarantee the freshness and stability of the product until it reaches the consumer. The final meat type in today's video is kangaroo meat. In Australia, around 5 million kangaroos are culled each year to meet the demand for food and leather products. This industry generates around $133 million annually, contributing significantly to the economy. After being harvested by hunters and brought to the processing plant, the kangaroo carcass is hung upside down and transferred to the skinning area. Workers use specialized knives to quickly separate the skin from the meat. The carcass is then moved to the deboning line, where workers cut and separate parts such as the tenderloin, thigh, shoulder, and rack. Each part is meticulously processed to ensure no tendons or impurities remain. After the cutting and separation process, the meat is cleaned and packaged using vacuum sealing technology or placed into airtight containers. The batches are then distributed to supermarkets, restaurants, and exporters globally. In Australia, kangaroo meat is a familiar item, commonly sold in supermarkets, often at a price lower than beef. This type of meat has a firm texture, rich flavour, is high in protein, and is virtually fat-free. With a high nutritional value and a natural supply, kangaroo meat is increasingly being recognised as a healthy and environmentally friendly food choice. Looking back, perhaps the question isn't just what we eat, but how we choose to produce food, to both meet human demand and respect nature. Will the future of food processing industries continue to expand? Or will humanity find another path, a more humane and sustainable one? Today's video ends here. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and see you in our next piece of content.